My name is John O'Long. I own Social Sphere Media. And so what we do all day long is build websites, do search engine optimization, run Google ads, run social media ads and stuff. And the whole idea here is because people will be like, sometimes I'll get these questions, people who know me for years, like, hey, do you do websites? I'm like, yeah, that's all I do all day long. I'm like, oh, I thought you did advertising. Then other people will be like, hey, do you do like Google ads or SEO? And yeah, well, I thought you just did websites. So we do all of that all day long, every day. And at the end of the day, in fact, I've stopped saying I do SEO and PPC and all this stuff. At the end of the day, our goal and what we find is our clients really don't care about a whole lot except getting their phone to ring and growing their business. And so at the end of the day, our goal is to do everything that we can humanly possible to get you more customers, to increase your revenue, to grow your business so that one, your business grows, two, that you're happy and that you keep us around because we like our business relationship and we've got to eat too. And so everybody's happy. If I can help your phone ring, then everybody's happy. And so today what I want to do is talk about how Google Maps can get you more jobs, more clients, more phone calls. Even if you're not a huge business, this is one of those places where the playing field is semi-level. When it comes to Google ads, like paid ads, a lot of your competitors, if you're an independent local business, and a lot of your competitors, like my competitors, have really deep pockets and can spend. I was looking at some guys yesterday. I mean, you've got some of these huge companies spending around $100,000 a day on Google ads, which is crazy. And it's just like, man, I can't compete with that. But when it comes to organic local SEO, particularly Google Maps, this is where you can compete if you do a few things and do them right and do them well. And then at the end of the day, we get more leads. Okay. And now things have changed with Google Maps, even since, I did a talk similar to this at the Chamber of Commerce launch back in March. And so like 4 months later, things have there's been some shifts and some changes, and especially in the way of Google reviews and how important they are. And then I've got a lot of people, several clients calling just this past couple of weeks with their Google reviews. People are leaving them Google reviews and they're not showing up. They've gotten some really glowing reviews and their reviews are just not showing up. I would be curious if you've got some Google reviews from clients that are not showing up in your Google My Business profile, type me in the chat so I know that that maybe you're dealing with that. I'd be curious because I made a YouTube video about it and got tons of views, and no one ever watches my YouTube videos. So it seemed like it kind of hit a nerve. So anyway, here we're gonna get rolling with the good stuff. All right. So I promise I'm going to try to get you out of here in 30 minutes. I don't know how many webinars you go to. I go to several. I don't go to a ton, but for whatever reason, these guys that do webinars all the time, those jokers do like an hour and 15 minutes. And I don't want to listen to anybody, not even my pastor, for an hour and 15 minutes. I mean, good grief. I mean, unless you're just amazing, like a comedian or something, I'll listen to you maybe for 45 minutes. So I'm going to quit rambling and get into this and get you out of here in 30 minutes, because I don't want to listen to anybody for more than 30 minutes, and maybe 35 if you're really good. So let's rock and roll. So what we're talking about here, we're going to call this kind of the digital domination method. Okay. And so there's a lot of things that we want to do to get you more leads. Okay. And so, your foundation is a really good website. Okay. And so that may be your struggle. Your website may be terrible and you need to deal with that. There's also these things called citations that we're going to talk about in a minute, because it's a big part of maps. But then once you've got that going on, then we move over here to number 2, Google AdWords and your Bing search. And then we move into some social media. And from there, you might want to get on the paid directories, like Angie's List and stuff like that. You could move in and get crazy and go into some email marketing. And then number 6, you could go into some local service ads, and I'll mention those here in a minute, and then Facebook and YouTube. But the idea here is what we're going for is that you are showing up everywhere, because there's no like one piece of the pie that's just going to totally kill it for you. So what we're talking about today is a piece of the pie. It's a big piece of the pie, but it's not the entire pie. And so we're going to work on that, but you need to be thinking about your website. You need to be thinking if you're running any paid ads, and are you doing any email marketing? People check their email. My wife has 147,832 unread emails, but she still checks the important ones. It stresses me out even to think about, but email marketing is still a big deal. Okay. And so what we want to do, what we're going to cover today are the latest updates with the Google Map listing and some of the biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking. Because one of the conversations we have a good bit is we'll get these customer clients that they've been around a long time. They've got a solid reputation. They've had a website for a long time. They've been doing everything that everyone's told them to do. They've even maybe paid some SEO guy like me, and still, when you search for, if they're let's say they're a plumber, and then you search for plumber near me, for whatever reason, they're not showing up. And then you've got some guy that just started a plumbing company a year ago, and he's got one review from his wife on his profile, and he's showing up number one. And these clients are like, what the heck? Why am I not showing up? So there are some things that could be holding you back. And then I'm going to show you like our model, what we do for ranking in the 3-pack. Okay. And when I talk about the 3-pack, I'm talking about when you search for electrician near me, you're going to see some ads, but you're also going to see that map pack. And if you've been to anything I've ever done, I always talk about the map pack. So a lot of you should be familiar with this, but it's that set of 3 map results. It's got the map, then it's got the 3, and it's got the business name, website, phone number, and the reviews. And you can see their reviews, or this is where you see your reviews. And that is where about 50% of phone calls come from. And so if that, for me, I don't know about you, but for me, that's where about like 98% of my phone calls come from. I very rarely click on ads, and I very rarely scroll past the maps section down to the organic, unless just for some reason I know who I'm trying to get and they're not showing up in the maps for some reason. But if I'm looking for somebody to do something, I want to see their reviews. I want to see that they care about their business. And I'm going to go look, I'm going to call somebody in that map pack almost every time. And so that, to me, that is where, if you are a local business, you're not just selling whatever online all over the country, and then it's a little bit different. But if you're a local business serving a local area, and you've got, especially if you got a brick and mortar, you've got a storefront, then this is a big deal. You need to be thinking about this and doing something with this. And so then we're going to talk about the best tools to systematize and automate the heavy lifting, because if you don't have some kind of system in place to get reviews and to get reviews consistently, then if you don't have a system in place to do some of the posting, some of the things that need to be done to optimize, but especially reviews, then you're just going to forget about it, because you're busy running your business. You got other stuff to do, and that is going to go on the back burner, when honestly, it's one of the biggest things that you could be doing, especially if you have anything to do with marketing your business, that you need to be paying attention to that. And there's a lot of things you can do to automate that, so that it's not on your back. Now, do Google Maps matter? That is one of the questions that we get, even though it kind of feels like a silly question. But do the maps even matter? And one of the reasons that comes up is because you see up here at the top, you've got ads that are popping up. And so everybody thinks all the ads are getting the calls. And even now, you've got your local service ads, or you'll see it pop up as Google guaranteed. So if you're looking for like a real estate agent, you'll see Google screened, and that's what they're calling real estate agents. So you'll see the 3 at the top, and those have been screened. And really what this is just a lot of Google hoops that you jump through, but it's a pay per lead service. Whereas the ads that you're seeing here, these are pay per click. So you pay when someone clicks on this ad. With the Google guaranteed, if you're an electrician, then you've got to get your whole team. You've got to get your whole team background checked, and you've got to give those background checks to Google, and they do all this stuff, ask all these questions. If you need help with that, we can help with that. Since it's background checks and sensitive information and stuff we don't have, so we can't just say, hey, yeah, we'll do that for you, we'll set it up. But we can walk through that with you. And so if you're interested in getting help with that, getting Google screened, if you're a real estate agent, or Google guaranteed, if you're a home service provider, then we can certainly walk through that with you. But so those are showing up even on top of the ads. And so now you've got the ads or the local service ads, then you've got the pay-per-click ads. And then you get down here to the map pack, which again, in this slide, we said 44% of clicks and calls are going to one of those three, maybe a little bit higher. Like I said, in my case, it's way higher, though I am calling one of those three almost every time. All right. And then, but then it's going to depend on how many Google reviews have you got. You look down here. Yeah, they've got a 5, that third one, the 212 water damage. They got 5-star review, but they've only got 3 Google reviews. And that could be the owner, his wife, and his mom, for all we know. And so we want to go up here. We look at PureClean. You've got like 40. You've got 40 5-star reviews there. And so most of the time, that's going to win. Those reviews are going to win us over. And that's going to be the highest ranking conversion factor to get us to actually do something, to pick up the phone and call and convert into a customer. It's going to be based on what Google would call a trust signal. So you've got these ranking signals, which are like the keywords and stuff, making sure that you show up when someone searches electrician near me or real estate agent near me. But then you've got trust signals that you're sending to Google, letting Google know that, hey, I'm trustworthy. I'm a legit business. I actually care about my business and how I'm perceived. And so a review is a signal to Google that you can be trusted. And so you need to be getting consistent reviews. And that is one of the biggest thing, if not the biggest thing you can do to help show up on Google Maps. Okay. So yes, Google Maps matter. That is the answer to that question. You can't rely on pay-per-click alone. We get some clients in here who want just all they want to do is ads, and they want to do Google ads and think that Google ads are just going to change their business overnight. But the truth is that Google Maps drive more calls than Google ads, and pay-per-click will be, I mean, it'll get some juice. It's a good booster shot, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but you can't rely on it alone. So let's talk about a few of the changes. Google is serving paid ads in map results. This is something different. This is something that we've seen even just in the last couple months since the last time I talked about this. Google is serving up paid ads in the map results. So it used to be that when you would set up a Google ad, you could add this thing called a local service extension in your Google ads. And then not only would your Google ads show up at the top of the page in the search results like normal Google ads do, but then there would be a fourth spot where normally there's just 3 businesses in that map pack. There would be a fourth spot, and it would be paid. And it would be people who were running ads and had added that local search extension to their ads. Now, Google sent out an email, and I got this email about a month ago that said, hey, we're automatically adding local search extensions to all of your ads. And so they're doing that for everybody across the board. They are adding those local search extensions. So what that means is your competitors who are running Google ads are now going to start showing up, even if they're not trying to, they're going to start showing up in that map pack through their paid ads. And so that's just one more thing to compete with, just another level of competition that we're up against now. Google Local Services is live in most major markets. This whole Google Guaranteed thing, or Google Screened, they rolled it out over different states and different markets over the past couple of years. And in different, depending on what industry you were in, you may or may not be able to get in on that. There were things that I tried to do around here for people in like a locksmith. We were trying to get local service ads for a locksmith, and in Walton County, you couldn't. It wasn't available. You couldn't run local service ads, but now you can. And so, for the most part, local service ads are live in most major markets. So it would be worth getting in on those. And it's a pay per lead service. And you've got to be consistent with it. You can't just let those leads sit there, or Google's going to stop giving you leads. But the idea is to dominate. You're showing up in the local service ads. You're showing up in the pay-per-click ads. You're showing up in the top 3 in the maps, and you're showing up in the top 3 or 4 in the organic results. And someone gets there, and it's like, dude, you're there, and there. I'm calling that roofer, or I am calling that insurance agent. That's who I want to talk to, because they're everywhere, and they've got great reviews. Now, one of the things that you can do is and this is where you've got to be careful. And we talked about this a few months ago, but anyone can go into your, pull up your map listing, search you on Google Maps, and start changing and editing your details and making suggestions. And then what'll happen is that someone will show up at your store or your office and you're closed and it's 3 o'clock and you had a family emergency, but they didn't really care. So you closed up shop early that day. Well, they got there and then they went on, because they were kind of ticked because they drove all this way. And so they went in and said at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon that his office is closed. And so then Google is going to take that seriously, more serious than what you have entered in as your operating, as your business hours. And Google will send you an email saying, hey, people are saying that you close at 3 o'clock on Tuesdays. If this is true, if it's not true, let us know. Otherwise, we're just going to change it. And so a lot of times what will happen is that people's information on Google will get changed and they don't even realize it. In fact, I've made a couple sales by challenging guys like, hey, if I can change your business hours on Google in the next 15 minutes while we're sitting here at the sales presentation, will you hire me? And they're like, yeah, right. And then, so I just go in here and make suggest an edit. And by the time we're done meeting, their hours are different because they didn't respond to it. They didn't do anything. And then you win the sale. So I don't suggest doing that. But it could work for you. Okay. Here are the top 15 local pack finder factors. Okay. These are the top 15 things, and we're not going to go through everyone. We'll go through the top 3 or 4, but these are the top 15 things that, and there was a survey done of about 30 SEO nerds like me, but they're way better than me. They all came together, answered a survey. And so all of their answers were compiled together and averaged out. And this survey came out last year, and it comes out every year. So it's kind of the thing that we gauge that nerds like me use to see what some of the trends are and what's going on. So the top 15 local pack finder factors, the number one thing that impacted whether or not you showed up in those top 3 is your primary Google My Business category. Okay. The primary category that you selected for your Google My Business profile is the top determining factor of whether or not you show up. And so you've got to be careful with that primary category. What happens a lot of times is people rush through setting it up and Google asks you about your primary category and you're like, hey, yeah, lawyer. And then you just keep going because we're just trying to get the hours up there and we don't ever think about it again. The other thing we forget to do is come back and add the additional categories, but we'll talk about that in a second. But primary Google My Business category really should be your moneymaker. For instance, let's use lawyers as an example. Okay. One category is, attorney or law firm, but then there's all these other categories that could be your primary category. It could be DUI attorney or personal injury attorney or estate planning or whatever. You're an attorney in a law firm, but if all you want to do is personal injury claims, then your primary category does not need to be lawyer or law firm or attorney. It should be personal injury attorney. And then you can make lawyer and attorney some of your other categories, but make your moneymaker your top category. Okay. So some of you may need to go back in your category at business.google.com, go into your Google My Business profile and adjust that. But everything as far as ranking in the maps has to do with your Google My Business profile. The second one is keywords in your Google My Business business title. Okay. So in your business title, you need keywords in it if those are in the name of your business. Now, here's the thing though. You can't just go add them to the name of your business. So your business has got to be listed as its real legal name. Now, I'm a perfect example of this because when I started, I just dealt with social media. When I started in 2012 and named this company, I just was Social Sphere Media, and all I dealt with was social media. I didn't do SEO at the time. So I wasn't even doing websites at the time. And so now my name does not have the keyword websites or SEO or PPC. And I've thought about changing my name, but that would hurt so many other things that I haven't done it yet. So what you'll see people do to remedy this, because it is a big deal, is they'll go in and what we would call keyword stuff their business name. And so you'll see this sometimes where you'll see a plumber and, It's Bob's Home Services. Okay. But they really mainly do plumbing. Okay. Well, his legal name is Bob's Home Services, but then you'll see them add like dash HVAC slash water heaters slash plumbing slash, and they'll just start keyword stuffing it in there. Okay. Here's the two-edged sword. One, it works. You start adding keywords to your business title, it's going to work. You're going to start ranking. You'll see it. And a lot of these guys that promise you results, that come in and say, hey, we can have you ranking tomorrow, that's what they're going to do. On the flip side is, if Google finds out about it, or if an SEO, if a competitor's SEO guy like me sees it, we're going to go tell Google about it. And Google can do anything from slap you on the wrist, which I've seen happen, to totally remove your Google My Business profile and all your reviews, and you never get it back. And they say, tough, nothing you can do. And by the way, don't try to create another one, because we're Google and we'll figure it out and we'll shut that one down too. Okay. So that's a big deal. I have seen some people go get a DBA and put the keywords in their name and rename their business something that actually includes what they actually do, and put those keywords in there. And that may be something to consider, but more times than not, your better option is just to do other things really well. Okay. Here's a third one. And I want to harp on this one for a second, because this is what everyone does not understand. Okay. The third top ranking factor is the proximity of the address, of your business address, to the point of search. Meaning, if someone is in their car 5 miles away from your office, and let's say let's say you're a restaurant, and someone is in 5 miles away from you, and they search best hamburgers near me. Well, if there are 7 hamburger restaurants between their car where they're sitting at Quick Trip and your physical location, even if you've got better reviews sometimes and you've done a better job of SEO, the fact that these other places are much closer to that person when they're sitting in their car, those places are going to rank higher for that particular search than you are. Now, guess what happens though? If they drive 2 miles closer, and then they pull over at another gas station and search best hamburger near me, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get an entirely different set of results. And then they do 2 miles. So you could actually test this. Get in your car, search whatever it is you do, insurance agent near me, in your parking lot. Well, guess who's probably going to show up number one? I have clients all the time. They're sitting in their office, they Google themselves, and they're like, man, Jono, you're doing a really good job. I'm like, no, you're sitting there. Okay. Has nothing to do with me. And then I'll have other clients who they're on vacation in North Carolina, Googling, Monroe, whatever, or Loganville, whatever. Then they're calling me ticked because they're not showing up. And I'm like, dude, Google knows that you're in North Carolina. That's not how this works. Let me just say this. If you have another SEO company, or some of you are my clients, and so I'm not trying to fend off anything from my clients. Most of my clients know this. But I pay in the neighborhood of $500 a month for about 4 different tools to help me tell what my clients' rankings are. And if all I had to do was Google them and count 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, they're 6. If all I had to do was that, I would not pay $500, $6,000 a year for those tools. Googling yourself is the worst way and the least accurate way to determine how you're truly ranking. And then you can open up an incognito tab, but guess what? They still know the Wi-Fi IP address, and they still know the location. Okay. So there's not a whole lot that you can do just searching yourself without paying for some tools to find out how you really rank. So stop Googling yourself is what I would say. But you can know that how close a person is to your physical address that's verified with Google determines or plays a big role in determining where you rank. Okay, so just know that. The other, physical address in the city of search, you want to make sure that you have a physical address in that city. You can't really rank for cities that you don't have a physical address in, as far as we're talking about maps goes. So if you are in Monroe, you're not going to show up. If you are a Monroe massage therapist and someone in Grayson searches massage therapist near me, you're not going to show up in those results unless every massage therapist between Monroe and Grayson has done a terrible job with their Google My Business profile, which is a possibility, actually. You're never going to show up in great, nothing against massage therapists. I'm just saying there's not a lot of them. It's not as competitive. Okay. You're probably not going to rank for that unless there's not enough in Grayson so Google's got to go further out to find some that they feel like are legit. On the other hand, so then if you look at, let's say you're like roofer in Loganville, okay? Only Loganville roofers are going to show up if someone is in Loganville searching for Loganville roofers, because there are 978 of them and in every city. And so it's highly competitive, it's cutthroat. And so no roofer's ever going to rank in a city that they don't have a physical address in. So then what you see happen is the businesses go get physical addresses in other cities, and Google's cracking down on that. So what you'll see happen is these businesses will go get their cousin's house in this other city verified with Google, and then they'll get their mom's house in another city verified, and Google's cracking down on that. Don't go to the UPS store, get a PO box. You can't verify with that. You can verify with because so many people are working remotely, and Google's catching on that people have to work from shared like co-working space. You can verify with co-working spaces. And we've done that for clients. You just got to make sure that you put a suite number on there, because if you got 19 businesses at the same address, it kind of freaks Google out. So make sure you just make up a suite number if you don't really have one, but put a suite number on there to differentiate in the eyes of Google. Okay. And then we'll stop with this one. Additional Google My Business categories. Make sure that you go back and add additional Google My Business categories. If you're a plumber, then go back in there. You don't want just plumbing to be your only category. You want to go back in there, hot water or water heater repair and faucet replacement, whatever categories you can think of that Google has available, go in there and put those in there. Okay. That's a big deal. All right. Primary category in GMB. You want to make sure you've done that. We've already talked about that. Let's see here. So what could be holding back your maps? What could be messing you up? Okay. And let's talk about that for just a second. Remember, we've got, I'm sorry, my dog's barking in the background. I apologize. Working from home problems. So we've got our ads here, then we've got the map pack, just if you're curious what we're looking at. But like we said, things that could be holding you back, you need an office in the city that you are targeting to rank well on Google Maps. So that may be one thing that's hurting you. Did you try to spam Google with some fake locations? Did you go register at the cousin's house, at your mother-in-law's house? And then finally, do you have an inconsistent name, address, and phone number across the internet? Okay. Google puts a lot of stock in you having the name, address, and phone number exactly the same in all these directories online, like Yelp and Yellow Pages and Better Business Bureau. And then there's hundreds of these directories that pick up your information from them. And pretty soon you're listed on hundreds of these things. But if you've moved an office or you got a new phone number and you didn't go back and change that and clean that up, well, now you've got two phone numbers floating out there. And guess what? Google's a dumb robot. And as smart as we think Google is, and we think Google can read our mind, Google is still a dumb robot. And we have to clean that up for them. And it confuses Google if you've got different phone numbers or different addresses. They can figure out, like, Google's smart enough if you've got Inc., John O'Long's Hot Dogs Inc., or without the incorporated, they can figure that out or whatever. But when you've totally leave a word out or totally spell different or rearrange the words or something, Google is going to get confused. And then, did you spam at your city and company name or the categories? Did you start putting those keywords in there that don't really belong? Okay. And so just make sure that you're not doing anything that goes outside of Google guidelines, or make sure your SEO person is following these guidelines and doing a good job. Now, there's a good bit of this stuff, if you have the time, that you can do this yourself. You could go through here and do this yourself and carve out a couple hours a week or less. But you know, if you're running a small operation and you don't have a ton of help, then you're actually busy doing the work, then you don't have time to fool with that yourself. Number 5, do you have enough reviews across the web? That's a big deal. You've got to have some Google reviews, and you've got to get a system in place of getting Google reviews. And then once you do that, I say everybody, we do get the question like, so should I be going after Google reviews and Yelp reviews and Facebook reviews, and which is the most important? And what I would say is you want to get a system in place, a real system, not just, yeah, we ask people for Google reviews. I'm saying a real systematic operation of getting reviews, to where when somebody pays the invoice, they get an automated message, or however you do it, whether it's as high tech as buying a system that does it for a couple $100 a month, or you just download an app that gives you a second phone number, and you just copy and paste this text in there that says, hey, would you go leave us a review, and put your review link in there. It could be something as simple as that, but that it's systematic and every customer gets asked for a review. Because you need reviews across the web. It is a huge deal, and reviews are vital to you getting to you showing up. Okay, and so we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but I did want to throw at you the top Google My Business negative factors. These are the things that hurt you the most, that could be holding you back. The first one is incorrect business category. If you haven't categorized yourself properly and haven't taken the time to make sure that all that's right, then that may be hurting you. It could be that Google has figured out that you've got a PO, that your business is actually at the UPS store, and they figured that out, and that's not cool. They may have, if your website is hacked, and we see this quite a bit, where some malware has gotten into your website, and so when people go to your website, they get these pop-up ads for irrelevant stuff, and you haven't dealt with the malware, and so Google's going to shut that down real quick. Google doesn't want to send anyone to your website, or anyone have anything to do with you if there's malware on your website. If there's some reports of violations on your Google My Business listing, that's a problem. Negative sentiment in Google reviews, meaning that the stuff that people are saying about you, and they're giving you 2 and 3 star reviews, and the words that they're using in the native reviews are sounding negative, then that's going to hurt you. Low numerical ratings of Google reviews. Okay, so just a bunch of 1 and 2 stars, and then just not having very many reviews is a problem. Okay, so those are things that can be hurting you and holding you back. The top 10 things that can convert people who are looking at your Google My Business profile into customers. So we're talking about conversion. They found you. We've got it situated to where you're ranking in the top 3 a good many of the times for some of those important phrases, like HVAC near me, or best pizza near me, best pizza restaurant near me. Okay, once they get there and see your profile, what are the factors that are going to make them actually call you and set up an appointment, or actually drive to your location and shop, or drive to your location and eat? Number 1 conversion factor is having a lot of Google ratings. Having a lot of high numerical Google ratings would be 5 stars. So 4 and 5 stars, somewhere in that 4 to 6 range. Okay, so having something above a 4.5 is huge. That's the top thing. You've got to have a high star rating. Okay, and then in the text, you want people to put some positive sentiment in that review text. In fact, you need to coach people on how to leave you reviews. One, you don't want them just going and clicking 5 stars and clicking submit and leaving without writing something. What would be even better is that they take a picture of the pizza and post it with their review, or they take a picture of the work that you did, the thing that the deck that you rebuilt, whatever it is that you fixed for them. They take a picture of that, include that in the review, and then you want to coach them. So if you're sending out a message like, "Hey, thanks for being a customer. Would you mind leaving us a review?" You want to tell them in that, you want to mention, please be sure to mention the service we performed for you in your review. Okay, so you need to figure out a way to coach them. If you went over there and installed a water heater, you want to remind them, hey, please make sure that you include that we installed a water heater, because those keywords in people's reviews are going to make a difference. Google reads a review that says, Bob's Plumbing did a really great job and they're nice people and we had a great experience. Well, that's cool. You got the word plumbing in there. But what if Bob's Plumbing came over, we had cold water for a week. They installed a brand new water heater and it is amazing. We love the water heater that they installed, and we've got hot showers. Okay. So now you've got that word water heater in there, this associated with Bob's Plumbing, this associated with Loganville, Georgia. So now Google's got the whole picture that in Loganville, Georgia, there is a plumber and people like the way he installs water heaters. Let's show Bob's Plumbing when someone says plumber near me and they're sitting in Loganville. Okay. So you want that positive sentiment in there, and you want people to give reviews. Okay. You want them to give good reviews, and you want them to say what you want them to say in there. Okay. And I'm going way over time here, so I understand if some of you have got a scoop, but I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible. I'm talking way more than I plan to, so thanks for hanging in there with me. Proximity of address to the point of search. Again, the closeness matters, them actually being close to you. Google My Business messaging feature is enabled. So if you haven't gone in and downloaded the Google My Business app to your smartphone, you need to go do that right now. Stop listening to me and do that, and turn on chat. And people can chat you directly and ask, hey, how much is it to install a ceiling fan if you're an electrician or whatever it is you do, and get those notifications to your phone or whoever's phone it is that needs to respond to those, and start chatting. Google actually just a month or two ago came out with a desktop application where it's a Google My Business Messenger app that you can put on your desktop or your laptop, and you can actually have that open in one of your windows while you're sitting there at work, and those messages will come through and ding you, and you can respond like almost immediately right there. So you may want to download that. That's something new. But you want to make sure you got the right hours, that you've completed your Google My Business listing. You get 750 characters to describe your business. Sorry, I went back and forth there. And you need to use all of them. So what we'll see is sometimes we'll take over a client's profile and they've got 3 sentences. So one of the things that we want to go in there is develop that out, get some of those keywords in there. And if people can book an appointment with you on Google, then make sure that you've got that enabled. All right, let's keep moving here. We're going to scoot through this. You want to own the search results. You want to be the person showing up the most. You want to be the person showing up all over the place. So own those search results. Get in those Google guaranteed, the local service ads. Get in there in the paid ads. Make sure you're showing up in the maps, and make sure that you are showing up in the organic results. All right. That's where you want to be. Rank in the 3-pack with Google My Business. Now these are some of the, one of the first things that we do for our clients is go clean up these listings. Because Google wants to see that you care about your business, that you care about how you're showing up on the internet. So we go through all of these, a few hundred, and make sure that the name, address, and phone number is all cleaned up there. And that's kind of a tedious thing, but it's something that you got to do if you want to be ranking. And that's one of the first things that we do. And then we help our clients get a system in place to get some reviews. And we've got quite a few people. I think even some people on this call are actually using our system. The first one I see, Amanda over at Paul's Heating and Air, they're using our review system, and I've actually just saw a review come in a little bit ago, a 5-star review, and they seem to be enjoying the program, and it's not costing a fortune. Optimize the heck out of your Google My Business listing. We'll just go through this real quick. Make sure that you've got your login for your Google My Business account. When we get a new client, one of the biggest things we need is access to your Google My Business. We need to be added as a user. And sometimes people have paid us for the first month, and it takes 3 weeks for them to figure out, get access to the Google My Business listing, because some employee created it 7 years ago and that person's gone and we can't find them. And now we got to get Google support on the line. And there's hardly anything we can do until we get that. And so much time gets wasted. So go ahead, whether you're hiring someone or not, find that account, make sure you've got access at business.google.com. You can go in there, you see your business, put that in a safe place, write that password down, not on a sticky note somewhere, put it in a password keeper, make a big deal out of that. Update your company name. Make sure you got your company name without the keywords there, the real company name. Get your web address in there, your local number, your local address. Put some photos in there. Make sure you got your, put a picture of the owner in there. Put a picture of the staff, pictures of the office, pictures of everything, the trucks, the office puppy, whatever it is you can come up with. People connect and resonate with the people. So show those pictures, completely fill it out, your categories, your services, and make sure that your primary category is the money maker. So if you go into business.google.com and over in the left-hand column where that red circle is, you can click on info, and then there's some spot to add photos. The easier way to do it is to download the app on your phone, the Google My Business app, and you can take pictures directly inside of the app. If you're out on a job or your guys, you tell your techs, hey, take a picture before you leave any job, take a picture of the finished product, send it to me, text it to me, or text it to you, and you go in and immediately upload it in your Google My Business profile. And that's going to be really helpful across the board. Okay. So you've also, when you go into your business.google.com, you can see some insights, and you can see that you are, like in this case, this client, this customer is getting 3.6 thousand views a month. And out of that, there were 191 total actions, 48 phone calls came last month just from Google My Business profile, not giving Google a dime, not giving Google any money for ads, but 125 people went to the website, 18 people requested directions, and 48 people called. And depending on your close rate, getting those people on the phone, these are good calls. These organic calls are some of the best calls, and those are what you want. And yeah, so how would you like to get 48 more calls a month just by, and not giving Google any money, just by working on your profile? Make sure you're updating your photos, add them on a consistent basis, get that app, set a reminder on your phone to take a picture of something about your business once a week. Post at least every 90 days. For our clients, we post once a week. We respond to reviews. Our clients respond to reviews themselves. Answer the questions that get posted. There's questions that you can go in and answer. You'll see these pop up. Does this place have takeout? Does this, especially if you've got things that affect you, or if COVID is affecting your business in any way, it's affected your hours or how you operate, you go put some COVID updates on your Google My Business profile, and Google will eat that up in a good way. That will help you out. So if you're a restaurant and you're offering curbside pickup, make sure you're going into your Google My Business profile and you let Google know that, and make sure if that changes, you let them know. Okay. You don't want people showing up thinking that Google's correct and then it's wrong and they go complain to Google. That will hurt you. Make the first sentence of the description of your business count, because only about the first 16 to 20 words show up in a preview on a phone. So yeah, you get 750 characters, but only about the first 20 words are going to show up if someone's looking at your business on their phone. So make sure that first sentence is a whopper. Okay. That is a big deal. All right. Build some citations and consistency with your name, address, and phone number. So you want to make sure that across the web, Better Business Bureau, and I can get you a list if you're interested. You can just shoot us an email at hello@socialspheremedia.com. We'll get you a list of directories where you want to go. Make sure that your information is listed. Of course, that's a service that we offer. We can do that for you. There's these aggregators, and they send your information out to even more online search sites. So you want to make sure that these 4 aggregators have got the correct information. There are some tools that you can go download. There's Bright Local, Moz Local. There's a company called Yext, White Spark. These guys will all handle the citations for you. I didn't put our logo on there, but we do. Again, if someone hires us for SEO, that is the first thing that we start working on, or cleaning up your citations. So there's some tools there that you can use yourself. They all have monthly fees there, or that's something that of course we can do for you. And again, let me just reiterate this. Ask every customer for a review on Google. It's a big deal. Leverage those tools. Leave a printed review card. I know some guys that they've got magnets made that they leave on the client's or the customer's refrigerator. I even know there was one guy, this was such a cool idea. You may ought to steal this. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was a garage door guy. But he would, when he would finish a job, he would ask, and it sounds maybe a little creepy, not really, but he would ask the customer if he could take a picture. He would, if they had a dog, he would take a picture of their dog. And then he would go have that picture of their dog turned into a magnet, and he would put his logo and phone number on the magnet and send that customer, thank you for letting me work on your garage door. Here's a little gift. And no one is throwing away a picture of their dog. And so the picture of their dog with his logo and phone number went on every customer's refrigerator. And I thought that was brilliant. Make a call after the service to walk them through the review process. That's something that's helpful. But build reviews and recognition into your company culture. Make sure that all of your techs, all of your people, all of your office staff know that reviews are a big deal, and really get everybody on the same page, working together to get more and more reviews, because again, that affects your business big time. All right. Best tools for review automation. There are some here. These are maybe a little bit pricey. Birdeye is one that's the big boy. It's a couple hundred, $250 a month. Review Buzz, Customer Lobby. There are tons of these services that will help you get reviews, to send out automated text messages. There's a lot of bells and whistles to them, and they're great products. And I've used specifically Birdeye and Nearby Now, and I have clients who are really happy with those. Some clients don't want to spend quite that much money, and we have a product that we sell, like I was mentioning earlier, and our clients are happy with those. But we'll come to that in just in 1 second. But you also just want to make sure that your website, if you could have 100,000 reviews and do everything with your maps, but if your website is awful, and you've done nothing on the website to make it Google friendly, especially mobile friendly, and then make sure that it shows up on a phone good, then all the reviews in the world aren't going to help you if Google sees that your website was built in 04 and hasn't been updated since. Okay, so you need to make sure that the website is rocking. Okay, and so the last thing I just want to show you real quick is our review system and just how this works real quick. If you're looking for something just simple, now this program, it can do a lot. When you registered for this webinar, we built the landing pages in this program, and all the sign up stuff was in there. The automated messages, the reminders that you got all came through this program that I'm going to show you. But at the simplest level, it can simply do the client check-in, to where you get a customer, you request a review. What's going to happen is you click this check-in client and put the customer's name in there, and you put their phone number in there. And then you click send a review invite. And so what's going to happen is they're going to get this message. We'll put your logo in there, and then a message like this. Hi there. Thanks for choosing Social Sphere Media, blah, blah, blah. The link below makes it easy to leave a review. And so then they click on that link. And in my case, it's going to take me to the Social Sphere Media Google My Business profile, and it's going to pop up. It's going to populate that option where they can go ahead and leave a review right there. So it makes it nice and easy. All they got to do is click the 5 stars, start typing, and add a picture if they want. Of course, this would be specific to you. And so if you're interested in that, you don't want to pay like the $250 for another system, then we're certainly here to help. Ours is $100 a month. It's usually $150, but for you guys being at this webinar, we'll do, that sounds like such a salesman thing, but we'll give you, we'll knock 50 off a month. So $100 a month. And there's way more that it can do. Your mass email, it can do follow-up emails. We even have one client that uses it for a voicemail drop. He's a mechanic, and a week after he does work on a car, a voicemail goes out that says, hey, this is so-and-so from so-and-so mechanic shop. Just wanted to check in and make sure that your car's still doing well. Let me know if you need anything. And that's working out real well. So the sky's the limit. But like I said, at the basic level, you can use it for review generation. And so if you're interested in that, just let us know. You can sign up for. We can hang out for a few minutes. If you just go to, we'll drop a link in the chat there, and you can click on that and set up a session, and we'll just talk for 15 minutes. I can show you what it does. Or you can, let's see, we'll drop that link in chat. Yeah, or you can call me 678-759-9989, and we can talk about how we can help you. If you're thinking, dude, yeah, all this SEO stuff, this map stuff, I know I need it, but I don't have time for that. I'm busy running my business. I'd rather just somebody else do it for me. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. But this is not a sales pitch, because I do believe that a lot of this stuff you can do on your own if you have the time and the discipline, and it can be done. So, but most importantly, make some sort of system, whether it's getting a free second number that you just text these requests out, or you pay for a system like ours, but get it automated, take the heavy lifting off, make it look nice and professional, and start getting those reviews coming in. Because I guarantee you, if you can get some more reviews, then you're going to break through that top 3 on the maps. If you do some of these other things that I've mentioned and start getting these reviews, I promise you're going to start seeing some changes. But if there's ever anything that you need from me, anything I can do to help you, give me a call. You got my phone number there. Shoot me a text. I'll probably answer a text quicker than I'll answer the phone. But you can also click on that link and schedule just a 15-minute call. And I promise it's not going to be like high pressure, me trying to sell you anything. That's not my style. I'll just answer questions that you have. And then by the end of it, you'll know if you want me to help you, or you may be like, cool, I don't like you. And that's okay too. But again, thank you so much for being here. We didn't have time to take a bunch of questions, so I apologize, but I am really thankful that you guys are here, and I hope that it was helpful to you, and I hope that it was valuable, and you got something from it that you can use. So thank you so much, and we will